What's up guys, here with another video, and in this video I'll be talking about the OKC Thunder versus the Pacer game 4, right? Yeah, happy Father's Day, on top of that, right? So yeah, Sunday, June the 15th, right? It was played like a couple days ago, and this is the most entertaining series that I ever watched, right? I think this is going to be the best series of the playoff, right? These playoff has been so intriguing and all that stuff, right? I mean, I watched the entire game and the Pacers just led most of the time, right? Until, the very last, few minutes of the game, like the Thunder just stormed back, right? Yeah, the Pacers, they were up by like 10 points, right? And I think the Pacers did do a really good job. I told you that this series, is going to be very close, right? That's why I said in the beginning video, I don't know why people don't like it, but a lot of people disagree with me, but see, I can predict things really well, right? Sometimes. And I did in this case, for this Thunder versus Pacer, right? Now I know the Thunders could have been easily been up 3-1 right now, right? If they didn't lose game 1, right? I say game 1 they were putting their foot off the gas pedal, right? And now, the Thunder, they did exactly the same thing, what they need to do, right? Pacers stole game 1 at Thunder, and then Thunder has to come to the Pacers and then steal one of their game, which is game 4, right? To even up the series, right? Because whoever's down 3-1, they're not going to win the series, period. They're not, because they're going to have to win 3 games in a row, and that's going to be really hard. So I know that the Thunders are better than the Pacers, right? But then, you never know. The Pacers, are one of the clutchest dangerous team. I think that the Thunder figure out like the Pacers, can close the game really well. They just figured out since game 1, right? And also give a lot of credit to the Pacers. They did everything they could, to stop or shut down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? I know that he did not go crazy the entire game, but at the fourth quarter, he was shooting shot after shot after shot. Like, this is what you need a superstar for, Go in the fourth quarter, they got to score like a lot of points, like 10 or 20 points, throughout the fourth quarter. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? The Pacers can have a really good start, but then, Thunder just like close it in, Like they were like up like 10 points, and then somehow, they're like down to like 7 points. So yeah, that is a big swing right there. Really big swing. Right, and also then the Pacers did a very good job of not letting SGA to the free throw line, right? That's the thing they need to prevent. If they can prevent that, they will beat the Thunder, right? And somehow, the game, slip away. Tyrese Halliburton, and yeah, the Pacers just, like I said, they have a lot of weapons, and so is the Thunder, right? This is... So, yeah. I could tell that these two teams are very hungry because the Pacers and the Thunder has not won a championship in like 40 plus years. So, this is what excites me. This is probably what excites you, OKC Thunder fans and Pacer fans, right? I know you're desperate to win a championship. It's like right now, right? Because you never know what happened next year, right? Maybe next year, all these unlucky things happen to you, all these crazy trade, that may happen to a team that may have better odds for them next year, right? Every year is gonna be different, right? So I like these two teams, seeing going hungry for a championship, right? So yeah. And let's go with the Indiana Pacers. I think this McMathurin guy, he is a really good bench player, just like Alex Caruso for the Thunder, right? Man, they both have a bench that can really, put up points, right? Yeah, I think in Obi Toppin, I saw Isaiah Hartenstein, and Obi Toppin, gone to, technical foul. Obi Toppin has been hitting big shots too, so yeah, just like all these players that I never seen their faces before. I never, been, top of the NBA. Like, they just hitting shots everywhere, man. it's just like I said, it's just you're part of human. We're very hungry to win victories, right? And tomorrow they're playing again, so now they're playing at the OKC Thunder, right? The Pacers had a chance, to win the game. They have a really good chance, and then they blew it, right? They blew it. The OKC Thunders and the Pacers, I was right about them. They have a best chance of beating it themselves, right? Best chance. Thunder, best chance against the Pacers, and Pacers, best chance against the Thunders. Right? But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just dropped 35 points. I remember going to full court, he only has 20 something, right? But even that, shutting him down is really hard, right? And he's because he got a lot of free throws, so yeah, sometimes it's hard, but but if the Pacer was a little careless, I say that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander SGA could have got 20 free throws. Could have, just to be honest with you. So Jalen Williams just shoot out of his mind, man. Just shoot 27 points. Alex Caruso, yeah, I knew that, this is the propaganda that's been going on, and everybody's figuring this out now, Whoever doesn't play with LeBron James, they shine and they become so much better version of themselves. And that's Alex Caruso, right? Alex Caruso is garbage, but in this finals, he's way better, right? Just like D'Angelo Russell. I remember Laker criticized D'Angelo Russell, and then Brooklyn Nets, and he just shines, right? That's what happened to the ex-Laker player. They somehow play so much better, whatever team they go to, especially now they're on championship. So Alex Caruso, if he gets the second ring, just good for him, Just very good for this guy, and he's gonna have a better legacy, right? I feel trading Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso for the Thunder, that's a win for them, in my opinion, right? Even though Josh Giddey does look good and bull, but if both teams win, good for them. I don't really care at this point, right? I mean, there's just no team to root for, right? But I kindly want the Thunder to win the championship. Right, so that way, they get, so confident, and they don't need to, build up the roster, and they may end up being stupid trading some, key pieces away, right? So hopefully that happens. That's exactly what happened, to the Denver Nuggets, right? They just trade, some, stupid pieces that made them better in the first place, and boom, they never won championship ever again. So yeah, this is exactly like the Denver series. So coincidentally, right? The Pacers and Nuggets, they are super close to being the Thunder. They're super close, way closer than compared to everyone else, right? Everyone else just don't stand a chance, right? But I say that the Pacers are a lot more formidable compared, to the Nuggets series, right? At least Pacers are not getting blown out, right? Well, they did get blown out of the game too, but it's not that big, right? The Nuggets get blown out multiple times, so Nuggets it doesn't even look that close, to be honest, right? So yeah, you never know, in Game 7, the Pacer might steal that one too, so let me make a summary for this video before I end it off really quick. So, see, this is where the series starts, after having 1-1 and 2-2, throughout the playoff. If a team just wins at their home court, if they just protect their home court, then the team that has the most home court will win the championship, which is the Thunder, right? Because they have the better record. They're 68 of 14, man. 68. Now, that looks better than my Golden State Warrior 10 years ago, right? The Thunders reminds me of the 2015 Warriors, but I don't think they can beat the 2015 Warriors, to be honest with you, right? I don't think so. Yeah, this team is just still, too young, I mean, if whoever wins this championship look legit, but it wouldn't be as formidable comparing, to the past eras, right? Yeah, just Rick. I know Rick Carlisle is a much better coach than the other coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder named Mark, right? But then the SGA gotta be the MVP, right? Now, if he fails to win this series, then it's all on him, right? So yeah, he's the one that's been carrying this Thunder team, since the very beginning. Like I started getting interested in this Thunder team, for like few years now, even as early as like maybe 2020, right? So yeah. So this one thing, so let's go over statistically, what happened to the Thunder. So there's several things I did forgot to mention, the this is not how you win games, by just jacking up so many 3-point, right? The Thunder knew, like okay, they're not hitting a lot of threes, right? They have not been making any 3-point, they only made 1 3, throughout like games after games, like 3 quarters. I watched like 3 quarter of the game, and Thunder has not made a single three. They only make just like 1 3, just 1 3 the entire game. Versus Pacers, they've been shooting miraculous of three. They shoot way more three than the Thunder. They shoot much better three than the Thunder's twos, and the Thunder still find a way to beat them. Now imagine if the Pacers shoots as bad as the Thunder in 3-point, and Pacers has no chance of being the Thunder, right? Yeah, that's why I could easily see that, the Pacers should have never been up 2 games, right? But then, Thunder just made a fundamental mistake that put them in this situation, right? And this series could have ended in 5 games, because if Thunder's up 3-1 and they win game 5, then yeah, it's Thunder in 5. But they're just a little inexperienced, right? And only SGA is really the best player of that team, right? That just constantly shows up in like big time and have to carry the weight of these Thunder team, right? With an inexperienced coach. So yeah, I told you like there's a lot of weakness that the Pacers and the Thunder had, There's something Thunder had, something that the Pacers didn't have. The Pacers has and Thunder don't have, right? That's why I say it's gonna be an even series. That is exactly what I said. I mean, both teams, caused turnover. The Yeah, but the Thunder just really outscored Pacers in the paint. That's how they win. So, peace out.